My. Hello, everybody. It's a nice, relaxing evening stream. I'm your host, rebeccaloran. We're here, we're just gonna get back to some drawing. I did this one earlier. And we're brought again to this place that we call home to do some drawing together. And it's Sonic the Hedgehog yet again. Wouldn't you know? All right, yeah. Okay, so let's, this is what we were working on earlier. Kind of, I think like doing more stuff from reference, like doing more gestures. Always like good to do. See. Different things that we've been working on. That's what we did, I think yesterday, or yesterday. What's your favorite position? You're a good painter? Okay, let's use the cream colored paper. But I really like doing the ballpoint. You're scared, Brandon Soon? Why are you scared? You can art anything? I can art anythings. And Amina Freedy 312 said that. Hey, Mr. Grunek. How you doing? It's a messed up box. Can you make a dinosaur? I don't know if that is what I thought it was. What do you think of AI art? Well, art isn't generated. Art is created by humans. So technically, that's not AI art. It's just an image created by AI. And I think that defeats the purpose of using AI. I think that people using AI to make artwork are limiting their potential as humans. They're looking at things the wrong way. It's cool that it can do that, but it's a neat little parlor trick, you know? Trump's chin. I think it's a neat little parlor trick. You know, that like, I think the only real reason for AI to exist in the first place is to help us improve our human abilities. That's like my whole philosophy of AI. I feel like human plus AI is the reason AI exists. Using AI to improve our own abilities, using it as a more objective, like, kind of analysis tool and a coaching tool. I feel like that's where AI is really gonna it's really gonna improve our lives in being able to look at things in a way that most people don't have access to, and it democratizes things in a way where you don't need like thousands of dollars to spend on like an art coach for example, and instead you just use AI and you use like an advanced tool that it's not quite where it needs to be right now, but with a lot of tinkering, I've been able to make it into an somewhat acceptable art coach. And like just giving me not motivation, but just like being able to give myself like a feedback machine, right? So being able to have a feedback machine, but I think as time goes on, it'll get more robust and it can mimic further and further a human coach. And so people who don't have thousands of dollars to spend on a human coach would be able to actually improve their artwork by submitting it to an AI coach, and then the AI coach would be able to pinpoint what the student needs to practice, all sorts of stuff like that, right? Vote Quimby. Yeah, Mayor Quimby. And it's not quite there yet, but I see a future where that is a huge advantage. Because now it's not just wealthy people. And like the more people have access to tools, I feel like in the end, human art and human creation is going to benefit more. Obviously, as that improves, stuff like AI image generation is going to improve. But like, what's the point of that? Like, what really is the point? Like, in the end of the day, like, are people really going to feel good about themselves for typing a few sentences into a prompt and then posting some image online? They might get a few updates, but as soon as the algorithms figure out how to like, I feel like it should just be demonetized, but then it's going to be complicated. But it is a battle that they need to think about if they want to like discourage people from basically, I mean, and quite literally stealing money from human creators. I think it's a real discussion that needs to happen. How do they prevent people from abusing this system? But I don't really need to worry about that because there's lots of other things I can actually put my attention on. Worrying about stuff like that does not really change anything. In the end of the day, what really matters is that I show up to make content and I do the best I can. And the more I do that, the better I'll get. And that's where my mind's at. I don't know where everyone else's mind at, but I would rather focus on what needs to be done and things that I can actually control rather than the world is going to blow up because of AI. The world is over. Like, what does that actually do? You know, like, it just makes you stressed out for no reason. It doesn't give you any advantage. It might be true, it might not be, but like, even if it was true, you gotta find some way out of it, you know? And you can't do that if you don't show up to make your content. You can't do that if you don't just keep fighting anyway and improving. What's gonna make the difference between the artists of today compared to the artists of tomorrow are the ones who just keep going in spite of the fear. And that's always been the case. Most people fail not because they're like not talented or anything. It's because they give up without even giving themselves enough time to get to where they need to be. How are you truly going to know what your potential is if you don't even show up? And if we're all gonna go, if the AI is gonna destroy us anyway, we may as well go down with the fight, right? So, the queef on the sidewalk? True. What? Tuna burritos left in the sun for 3 days? Can you recommend a background song? Is it Gay Ann? Yeah. And either way, I'm not trying to become some top tier artist. I'm just showing up to do art because I've never given myself the permission to actually pursue artwork. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not even really trying to make content. I'm just showing up on stream. Hey, Scuff Dio, how you doing? And who knows, maybe that is a form of content. I mean, it definitely is. People are here, people are in the chat, people are talking. That makes it content. So, as far as like my objective, like art ability though, I don't know if that's really gonna go anywhere. But I'm showing up to do doodles and have fun. And it's really meditative, right? So like, in the end of the day, like it's still doing something beneficial for me. Your favorite ice cream? Vanilla. Your mood today was a cartoon character. Who is it? I have no idea, actually. What are you drawing? I don't know, I'm just doodling. Wish I was talented? Well, I don't know if talent is a real thing. I think people who have the appearance of being talented are just people who show up consistently and push themselves and get feedback and act on that feedback over time. And the people that we see as talented, they're just consistent. And we don't see all the work that comes before that. If your personality had a mascot, what creature would it be? Practice makes perfect. Yeah, I mean, you show up and you build a certain muscle, and before you know it, you're able to lift more weights, right? And it's just, for some reason, I think society glorifies and mysticizes anything related to art, when art is really just another craft. Just like doing woodwork, or doing, like, you know, metalwork, or anything. Like basket weaving, like it's just a craft. And I think society has like kind of mystified and like kind of set up art on this weird pedestal where they think that it's this thing that nobody can do unless they're talented. But if that were true, there'd be people who pick up a pencil and were able to draw like perfectly without any training. And that's not true. You need constant training, even if it's self-study, which I'm mostly self-studying, because unfortunately I don't have the kind of capacity, at least at this time, I don't have the capacity or the resources to get personalized instruction outside of like what I was talking about earlier. I think that's where AI can kind of fill some gaps. It's not as good as having like a human teacher, but having somebody to give you feedback on your work and talk about techniques and give you practice drills and give you like information about like different techniques and how to use a pencil, how to use a ballpoint pen. Like that kind of helps a lot. But having a genuine human coach is a lot more expensive, even though it's better. Not everybody has that kind of resource. I already answered that. Say it's abstract. It's art. Yeah, it's abstract. I'm just doodling some abstract. I mean, eventually, like, I mean, earlier, like I was saying, I every now and then I push myself to do more than just abstract. Like I did an abstract here, but I also drew my a gesture drawing of my mouse. And so, like, just pushing myself a little bit at a time, you know? Art isn't abstract. Some art sucks. Yeah, exactly. Like, there is an objective kind of reality of quality. And even among the most abstract, there's, like, fundamental patterns of technique that make a difference. And I've developed some kind of style, like, this is just like the past couple weeks. You know, and the stuff before this, the first couple of weeks when I started trying to draw, after like a lifetime of starting and stopping and starting and stopping, like now I'm kind of developing these kind of different doodles. And like there's a crayon drawing. And like there's some, you know, patterns I'm noticing, but I'm not really trying to force anything. I'm just trying to like let things happen. You drawing like me and your sister? Well, that's good. Yeah, you know, drawing is more than, you know, my goal, you have to ask yourself what your goal really is. My goal isn't to become like a master artist, you know, that can be, you know, like, I'm not trying to become some, in like, I'm not trying to build a career off of art. I'm drawing for personal reasons because I want to see how much I can improve. I want to see how far my art can go because I've always given up on it in the past. I've always said, oh, this is a waste of time because I'm not any good. I don't want to spend time on this because, you know, like if you look at my YouTube channel, my latest video was called The Core Wound. I talked for 20 minutes about like where this all came from. And this is basically coming from a deep internalized sentiment from early childhood that if something isn't going to make me money, it's not worth doing. And I've been trying to undo that script. There's many reasons to learn how to draw other than just whether or not you're going to make money off of it. Like there's so many benefits. It's very good for your mind. And I don't want to just sit here and doodle every single time. Like I did that gesture drawing, right? Practicing using my eyes to try to replicate an image in 3D space onto 2D space. Or I could reference from an image. You know, so basically just drawing what I see and trying to practice my ability to draw what I see, which is really what drawing is. You're practicing your ability to draw what you see. And that includes inside your imagination. So, like right now, I'm drawing abstract of what I see in my imagination. But the more I do that, the more I focus on learning how to see properly, Like the clearer my lines can get, and I can get like more kind of like higher levels of detail and less randomness. Nice scribble, yeah. Backshots. Don't give up art is awesome. I don't think AI destroys people. I think it just kind of changes how we need to look at things. And we need to redefine our goals. And we need to redefine our self-worth and where we get it from. And I think we just need to do stuff anyway. AI will improve constantly, but I think there's going to eventually be some kind of protection and limitations of what AI can do, like legally, or possibly just at least getting monetized in order to protect human assets. There's a lot of discussion around it. AI isn't going anywhere, so it's a matter of what we do about it rather than, you know, we can't ban it. We can't get rid of it. And I don't even know if getting rid of it would be the answer, because you can't fully get rid of it anyway. Somebody is going to make it. And they can't just police everybody. So instead, we have to protect ourselves and protect what's human at all costs. That's going to be our existential threat. Well, thank you, Bullseye. Yeah, I'm just randomly doodling. Doodly-oodling, 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 doodly-oodling. I think there has to be a level of faith that we will figure out a way through this era of existential threat that AI is causing a lot of industries. I feel like we have to have a level of faith to show up and be brave enough to continue. Because I think a lot of people are going to quit art. And that's unfortunate, because those people could potentially be very meaningful members of the art community. But in the end of the day, that's kind of how it's always been. People are going to give up. And I think, like, we need to have hope and faith that we will find a solution to prevent art from being taken over by AI. It really does undermine all the systems we've built. Like, not many people are talking about this, but, you know, it's like the way that YouTube is set up right now. It's the algorithm is designed around human content creators. And as AI improves and it becomes indistinguishable, imagine if there's just, you know, 1 million times more videos being released per day. And people want to watch human creators. Maybe not always, but I think most people deep down would prefer to support a human being rather than someone who has an AI. Hey, Serby. So I know it's a really uncomfortable topic. I'm not in the camp of everything relating to AI is bad. I think AI has its benefits if used responsibly and ethically, and for tasks that don't undermine human creativity, for very repetitive tasks that take away from craft, and also for filling in, especially democratizing for people who don't have extreme wealth, tasks such as like coaching, you know, education. Like teaching people how to read, right? Like some people don't have that level of access to education. Something as basic as reading, but think about something more complicated, like an art coach, right? Paying for a teacher to help you become a better artist is not possible for so many people. But if as AI advances, all you need is a phone with a camera and a pencil and paper, and you could start drawing, take a picture of it, and the AI would say, hey, like, this is where your ability is right now. These are some exercises you can do. Here's some questions, for you to answer, like, so I can know how better to help you. Like, I feel like that's where AI is really going to shine. And that's kind of how I use it, but I have to be very deliberate about it because AI has not evolved that much yet to be able to just do that for any random untrained user, right? Like, so for me, like, I'm extremely like project oriented, and I create like multiple like instruction sets and protocols, and I stress test it, and like I'm the kind of person who does that. But a random everyday person, especially like a child or something that's wanting to learn how to draw, there will be a day when AI tools will be able to just look at a picture of your artwork and then know how to teach you. It will get there. I have no doubt that it will. It already does with specific instructions. It's not like super great at it, but it's better than nothing. And I don't know, eventually I will be able to find a human teacher to help me through my art journey. But there's a lot I can do on my own. Artists are definitely not going away. I don't really see it as art. I see it as generated images. I know that that's like a little bit of a nuance that not a lot of people are going to care about, but it's just a generated image. It's not really art. And yeah, like right now it's extremely generic. I don't think it's any good. It makes like decent like slop, but you also have to realize that it's only going to get better. And I hate this phrase that people use. They say the same thing. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It drives me nuts that people say this because this is not. I know why they're saying it, but I don't think they understand how asinine it sounds. They say, now is the worst it'll ever be. The worst it ever was when they wrote a scientific paper that said how to design AI version 0.1. Like, that was the worst it was ever going to be. It's already passed, like decades ago. I think they invented AI in like the 50s, right? That was the worst it'll ever be. Today, it's an iteration. It's not the worst it'll ever be. Yesterday was worse than today. So I hate it when people say that. It's so asinine. They keep saying, just remember, this is the worst it'll ever be. It's like, no, yesterday was worse than this. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know why people say that. How's the weather in Biloxi? What the fuck? I don't know what Biloxi is. What am I making? I'm just doodling. I'm in the kind of Star Trek camp of AI, where I think eventually AI will be really useful for certain, like, training tasks. Like training someone to become a chess master, training someone to be a competent artist, training somebody to become, like, to understand, like, philosophy, or to be able to play a music instrument. Like, AI is going to be able to be like the holodeck in Star Trek, The Next Generation. That version of AI, I think, is going to really help humanity. there's also a downside to that. There's going to be people trying to pass off AI as original artwork and creations like videos. And I think it's going to undermine the creator economy, because this economy is supposed to be centered around humans, especially like YouTube, for example. It's supposed to be centered around human content creators. And we see all this AI slop popping up. I think, they have to be working on something. It's very early stages, so it's going to get better. The defense against AI is going to get better as AI itself improves as well. So the defense it's not about like AI equals bad. It's not like that. It's just, what are we going to do about some specific problems that arise because of AI's proliferation and its improvement? Because if like millions of videos are being uploaded per minute of AI generated content that eventually will become completely indistinguishable from human content, how does that affect the creator economy on YouTube and such? And it's going to destroy everything that we've built. So they're going to have to find a way around that. And that's why that YouTube has to be working on it. There's no way they wouldn't be. I think hand-drawn artwork has a character to it that you can't really mimic, and eventually maybe that'll be true. Maybe AI can start mimicking true, like, human nuance. But I don't think that's the point of art. I don't think the end result is why we make art. That's just a pretty picture that people make. It's an artifact. I think the reason people make art is so that they can improve themselves, and that evolution is like a spiritual journey that individual artist is going on. And I think more things like what I'm doing right now, like live streaming the process of creating art, I feel like that is like what matters, and that I'm a verified human. And I think human verification is going to end up being part of what is solving the problem, because there should be a way to completely like I don't think AI videos should be monetizable. It would definitely ruin a lot of it would create a lot of problems, because people could just create infinite amount of content in like short amounts of time and just completely just rob YouTube of resources that should be going to human content creators. And, these robots are just, it's, I don't know, it's just like, it's like a cheat code for success in life. And like that doesn't seem right. It undermines everything that we're trying to build here on places like YouTube. Hola, monkey 420. Art. It can never replace real hard work. I mean, I feel like there's something deeper about art than just about the end product. And I think like capturing that overarching process, developing your own audience and maintaining your own fan base and like patronage and commissions is really like where the economy is going for artists. Like the people who know who already support you, and then finding more people to support you, and rising above the AI nonsense of just machines trying to mimic humans. I feel like they should do what they do best, which is delegate tasks that are normally gated by money or by, certain resources that not everybody has. Like I said, like teaching somebody how to become an artist. I think AI would thrive at that. Imagine how many more artists we would have if all they needed was a phone. Like they just needed ChatGPT and they could just become a master level artist. Imagine if that was possible. How many more human artists would exist that normally wouldn't, because they live in poverty and they don't have access to, like, expensive art schools. And obviously it would always be better to work in like a very structured, environment, like an art school, and with like personal teachers. But imagine all the people who can't do that, who otherwise, would just never become an artist. Think about all the people who just with a phone in their hands could then learn how to become an artist, or become a chess player, or become a musician. Or I think that's where AI is gonna shine. Are you 55? I'm 38, bro. Yeah, I mean, I'm trans, get over it. Still a real woman. And I still got a vajayjay. Not that you're ever gonna get to be a part of it, but more real of a woman than you'll ever meet. You can go back to your anime waifu pillow. I mean, AI can help these guys in my chat. They'll never be able to actually get a girlfriend, so they'll have an AI chatbot to, help them sleep at night. So they can hug their, their anime waifu pillow. Hey, what's up, Adrian? Adrian! Sometimes you just gotta punch a robot in the face. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep showing up and doing my thing. I'm gonna keep streaming. I'm gonna keep, content creating. And right now is kind of a weird, like, kind of, hold on, period of my life. And there's gonna be a time where things are gonna be a lot simpler. And I'm gonna be able to focus on improving my content. And things will start to really work out for me. I just have to wait for some certain resources to start, so they can move me to a new home. It's not just about making it, it's about having fun, and then time and experience you put into it. It's about the journey along the way. Yeah, hey Jess Matrix. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in quite a while, Jess. How have you been? I hope you've been okay. I don't know if you've been here since my big surgery 2 years ago, but I had my final surgery 2 years ago. I'm sorry if I haven't remembered you since you were... I don't know if you've shown up since then, but yeah, I had my big surgery 2 years ago. And I haven't accidentally loaded up my OnlyFans on stream. I'm sorry if I scared you. I was trying to make a joke. I mean, I was logged out. It was like one of those jokes where I'm like, I'm gonna show you my OnlyFans, and then it just shows me like at the login screen, like, oh, you haven't been around since then? Yeah, I'm sorry if I scared you with that joke. And then the other things that we should probably, you know, be let buried in the past. But I had my big surgery 2 years ago. I had my vaginoplasty. It's been a really, really, really big change in my life. Things have been a lot better. I've been a lot smoother. I find myself focusing on, you know, I have some other issues in my life, like the housing issue, but I'm working with the regional center and an FHA, and they're finding me a new home. I texted my case manager for an update, so hopefully I get an update this week. But they're on it. How much were you drawing? I've been drawing every single day for the past 5 weeks. Oh, I'm sorry, Jess. I wish I could just wave a magic wand and help everybody get what they need, but I can at least give you hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel if you fight hard enough. I was able to get all my surgeries to happen, and I'm able to move forward with my life, and I'm continuing to fight because I have other fights, like, you know, my housing issue, autism related issues, career development. I started working as a model at the college for the art department, and that's been going really well. And those are valuable skills, and it's good resume as a model, and as a content creator. So I'm gaining valuable skills. Short stream layout is different today. Yeah, I'm trying something new with the verticals format. Yeah, keep doing your thing, it'll get better. Nice seeing everyone and spending time with you. I hope you guys have a good day. Oh, well, thank you, Christopher Smith. Go to sleep. Everyone's telling me to go to sleep, too. It's 52% so far. 48% want a 24-hour stream. Hello. Hey, Jay Shadow. From India? Wow. That's intense. Yeah, is my stream out? Oh, is my stream layout okay? Because I changed it. Can you guys see the drawing? Can you see everything okay? Damn, I got 2 people on X. Where are you from? I'm in California, in like the San Francisco area. I'll take me 2 nights of drawing some, and then I'll make one image of drawing tonight. Well, good luck, Will. Yeah, basically I've been on, the reason why I started drawing and committing to drawing every single day, even if it's only for 3 minutes, which a few days, the past couple, like this past week, a few days, I only drew for like 10 minutes. I just did not have that energy. I was having some issues, and, but I got myself to draw for 10 minutes. I don't know about that, W-Bin. I'm not very good at art. I can't really always draw something specific. And right now I'm kind of just doodling. But I'll get there. I did some gesture drawing and working on, you know, proportions of like the human body and stuff like that. Like different exercises. What am I drawing? I'm just doodling. But I've been drawing every single day for the past 5 weeks. Now, the reason why is because I've spent my whole life, I've had periods of time where I wanted to get better at drawing, and I even like bought art supplies and, you know, like sketchbooks and different art supplies. And then I would get really into it for a few days or maybe even a few weeks. I think this is the longest time I've gone with daily drawing in my entire life. It's been 5 weeks, and I'm going to maintain it. 3 minutes a day is very doable no matter what. So I'm pretty sure I can just maintain 3 minutes minimum a day. Even though most days it's going to go well over that. But like I've been drawing, you know, I think I've been drawing for almost an hour now. And I drew earlier today too for like an hour and a half. And so, you know, it's a lot easier for me to go above and beyond my minimum. But the reason why I set a minimum, it's more because I made sure to set it so that I can achieve a daily minimum that is successful no matter what. And that trains your brain to be able to make something normal. Like it's a normal part of your routine. Focus on one image, a single thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that kind of exercise right now. I'm just doodling. Just to keep myself like kind of, it's almost like meditative. Draw a rose. Yeah, like stuff like that. I drew my mouse earlier, so I don't know if it's any good. Like in my previous drawing earlier today, I drew the mouse. I think also just, you know, I am autistic, and I'm trying to learn how I learn when it comes to art, because I've never truly dedicated myself to art. So I go a lot slower than like what a lot of people recommend. And I'm sorry if that makes people feel like I'm not doing enough or something, but I need to go at my own pace. And so I might end up just doing stuff like this, like just randomly doodling, a lot more than people think I should, because I don't want to fail. Whenever I start pushing myself to do too much too fast, that's when things start to fall apart. And so I'm just learning to like enjoy it. I don't want it to turn into something that's painful. I don't want it to turn into something that's stressful and like full of pressure. You know, I'm not actually, today didn't count because I didn't draw a rose. Or you know, like I don't want to like hold myself to that level of pressure. Like I drew for 3 hours today, but none of that actually counted because I didn't draw a real thing. Like, no, my minimum standard is showing up and drawing for 3 minutes, no matter what that is. And whatever else I do, like optimizing and such like that, that's like a later problem to solve. I'm not focused on that right now. Hi, Samuel. Suddenly, Samuel. Don't be sorry. Yeah, and plus, you know, drawing is not really a primary pursuit of me. Like, I'm not pursuing art as a career. Who knows, like, where it'll lead me, but the reason I'm drawing is because I want to learn. Simple as that. And it's helping me through this dark time in my life when there's a lot of things I don't have control over. I at least can control my ability to create art. Like, I can show up and do something. Now, the quality might not be very good, but I know that I can show up and control it. It's not something out of my control. And that's what I need right now. I need control over my life. Because right now a lot of things are bottlenecked by external agencies, and there's nothing I can do to make those happen faster. I've tried, but it's just I'm hitting a brick wall because it's a bureaucracy. And I don't want to just stress myself out or even jeopardize my opportunities. There's just literally like a bottleneck to how much, progress can be made. And they're looking for a house they're looking for a match, the FHA. They're trying to find me a home. But, and I'm not really able to pursue like a lot of the things I want to be pursuing in content creation right now because of my situation. And I just need to give it a little bit more. I need to give myself a little bit of credit. Like, I'm still doing a lot. I'm showing up to my live stream and I'm drawing for you guys and hanging out. And also, I'm literally like showing up a few times whenever I'm scheduled to model for art classes, for a figure drawing class, for a couple different figure drawing classes, which is real modeling experience. So I'm technically a professional model. It's a start, and I'm building something, and I'm not even in an ideal situation I need to be yet. Bulbasaur Monday, yes, Serby, I need to live up to that, okay? But this is also what I'm talking about. Setting myself hard limits, like I have to do this thing on Monday, or it's not really like that's the problem I'm trying to fix. I have this perfectionism attitude where if I don't fit like my if I set the bar too high, and then I'm gonna ultimately, fail, then I end up like not really continuing. And I want to keep showing up to art like years from now. I don't want to quit like I've always done in the past. Hey, Ankit. Don't worry about things out of handle, girl, you're handling your shit. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that are literally not doing shit with their lives. They're queuing up for Call of Duty for the 80,000th time this year. And they're just, not doing anything at all with their lives. They're not even live streaming. They're just playing video games because they just don't know what to do with their lives. And unfortunately, nobody can do anything but themselves, and they don't really do anything. They just play Call of Duty, eat junk food, complain on Reddit about how they don't have a career. Or they complain that they don't have a girlfriend. It's usually guys. But there's also a lot of women who are also not really going anywhere in life either. So, there's a lot of people who are not doing shit with their lives. And I'm doing everything I possibly can to get advocacy to have a better life. I'm calling you out. Nothing wrong with Call of Duty gaming, okay? Or any gaming really. I'm just saying there's people who are not doing jack shit. Jack attack. Art fart. But I'm fighting, and I've gotten a lot of things that I thought never would happen. I fought really hard these past 6 years, and I'm starting to make things really happen. I could have just given up. I could have just said, no, it's hopeless. I'm a loser, and just not done anything. But I said, you know what? I have things in my life that I want to accomplish. And it's definitely not going to happen by just complaining about it. So I need to actually start getting my resources that I can, because I do have a developmental disorder. So I don't need to just like say, oh, I'm just going to give up then. No, that means that I need some advocacy. I need some resources. And I found those resources. And now they're fighting for me in ways that I've never had before. I am closer to success than I have ever been in my entire life. Some people will say I'm getting handouts or whatever, but there's plenty of people who have similar issues that I have, who don't have anywhere near the amount of resources I have. Okay, there's people who haven't even advocated for themselves, who have the same exact kind of disabilities I have. And I decided to get over my ego and stop trying to do it by myself and admit that I need help. I can't do this alone. And so for the past couple of years, I've been advocating for myself. Like for like 2 years ago, I got a surgery that took 5 years of deliberate advocacy and deliberate work on my physical health, because I'm diabetic. I had to get some surgeries that at the very last minute, I almost didn't get because of diabetes related, bottlenecks. Like I needed to fix some things in my health. I needed to like lower my A1C. I lowered it by 0.5 points in a single month to get back on that schedule for surgery. And now I have a vagina. Okay, so how many people can say that? Not many people. Not many people in my position, at least. There's a lot of people who have the same exact resources as I have, and I'm not trying to gloat or anything or call people losers, but what I'm saying is that I definitely have a strength, and I should play into that and let it do work for me. That it will carry me. It will carry me farther than anybody else who is in my position, because there's people who are not doing even 1/10 of the amount of effort I've put into making my life better. Okay? And they still have a shot too. So I have access to resources because I qualify for them, because unfortunately I have a developmental disorder that makes me functionally disabled. You can slice it any way you want. You could say, oh, well, it's not that, not to call it a disability, let's call it neurodivergent. I still know that it's a disability. Calling it something else doesn't make it different. And that's fine. Not everybody is going to see it the same way I do. But just because I have a disability doesn't mean I can't succeed in life. My art is sick as hell. Well, I'm glad somebody likes it. I think it does have like a flavor to it. Like it's very abstract. It definitely has like a flavor. And I have been kind of cultivating it. And this is just me doodling. I have a lot more freedom of expression when I don't really have a particular thing I'm trying to draw. My next bottleneck is being able to do this style of freeform art, but directed at a very narrow goal, like drawing like a flower or drawing like a person, but put this level of flow into that, because whenever I try to do stuff that's deliberate, it becomes more kind of like I'm controlling it too hard. And this will get better over time. So the more I practice that, the better I'll get. But I feel like I get the most like freedom when I'm not really trying to make anything, which does create like little interesting doodles like this. But my goal is to be able to expand. I don't want to just do random doodles and hope for the best. I want to be able to say, I want to draw this thing at this angle with this lighting, with this specific thing. Like I'm not there yet, and it's okay that I'm not there yet. But this is like the future that I see my art going, is I want to be able to optimize and have more control and fine tuning on what exactly I create, without losing the freedom of expression. Tag up a wall. Yeah, it's kind of like graffiti style. I'm not going to tag up a wall, though. That is like, you know, property damage. I don't want to do that. I don't want to break the law. But anyway, add color. I mean, it technically is blue. I'm trying to work on usually like one variable at a time. Like, I just want to be able to get the drawing part. I'm not necessarily, like, I am slowly working on different painting styles. Like, I do have, like, soft and oil pastels to do painting. And I do have, you know, crayons and colored pencils. But I also have acrylics and, like, watercolors. I also have oils, but I'm not ready for those. I don't have the environment to do it. You know, but they're working on it. The agency I'm working with, the FHA, is finding me a home. And I'm going to have more freedom. And I'm going to be able to create better content. And I'm going to be able to express myself more and improve my artwork. I'm going to be able to do all sorts of things. I think I'm going to finally be able to finish my novel. I'm on like the 3rd draft now. I have like, I would say about 75% of my novel is completed. There's a big jump left in 25%. Like 75% is not anywhere near what it needs to be. Like there's a lot that can happen in 25%. Like I would say my novel's 75% done, which is better than 50%, which is way better than 0%. I'm just doodling, Marco. You're 3 a.m.? It's like, oh, 3% done. Yeah, it's 10:25 p.m. here. 22:25. So yeah, I mean, I've worked on this novel for 10 years, though, and I'm only 75% done. A lot of it is like I am juggling a lot of stress from a lack of agency in my life, a lack of change, a lack of ability to change it. I have tried and tried and tried to take control over my life. I have not made the amount of progress I've made in these past couple of years is more than the last 15 years of my life. Actually, more than the last 20 years of my life. Actually, more than my entire life. I'm 38. So, my entire adult life, the past 20 years, I have made more progress in the past 6 years of my life than the entire past 20 years of my life. Okay, we're just gonna kind of discount like childhood because it's kind of a dice roll or a coin flip whether or not somebody like makes significant life progress when they're a child. Some people do. Some people are like prodigies, right? But that's like kind of a dice roll. It depends on like the resources you have, the kind of mentorship you have. You know, like there's so many variables. But when you're an adult, there's a lot more you can control. And unfortunately, I lack a lot of abilities that a lot of other people might have. Doesn't mean everybody has them. There's people who aren't neurodivergent or have the kind of disorders I have who are also in the same boat as me. But fortunately for me, because I qualify for specific advocacy and resources, I have a shot at being successful in life and having like things just kind of work out for me. Like it's really hard for people to take care of things like housing, especially in California. People are struggling. People are working like paycheck to paycheck. And I feel a lot like I'm cheating. But it's not. I'm just utilizing the resources I have, which makes me a winner. Because winners don't have ego about it. Winners don't care how they win. They win. That's what winning is. Just because I'm not doing it by myself without getting advocacy for like housing assistance and stuff like that, doesn't make me any less. It actually makes me more, because I was able to get rid of my ego and just say, you know what? If I want to succeed, I'm going to do the steps required to become successful. I'm not going to like tie myself to any specific method. I'm not going to tie myself to like, oh, it's not real unless I do it by myself, so I'm going to deny help because that would be cheating. It's like, no, life is really fucking terrible and cutthroat, and you need to do the best you can with all the resources you have available. That's what makes you strong, when you're able to utilize resources that are available. Not everybody has those resources. Life is not fair. But there are people who are born into wealth. Do you think they had some kind of special, like, extra ability? No, they just got lucky. They spawned into a family that was already wealthy, and they got more resources. They cheated too. So it's not about like whether or not like, oh, well, I have to do it the right way. I have to work a hard labor job because that's the way everybody else. You have to work for a living. It's like, yeah, everybody has to work for a living. Even those people who are billionaires who came into wealth like just for being born from a wealthy family. There's people who are born into those families who don't really do anything in life. And there's people who do. There are challenges. There's always challenges. Life is hard, but also life is not fair. And for this specific need of financial stability, you got to use every tool to your advantage. Yeah, sometimes you got to eat rocks and tell yourself it's cereal. Skelly butts. Exactly. But, I mean, those are wise words, skelly butts. But, basically, to think that you can overcome something by yourself when there are alternatives available just makes you stupid. Like, oh, and at the very least, I don't know about stupid, but it makes you stubborn for no reason. Take the advantages, bro. Like, life is already not fair. Are you worried that people are going to hold it against you? Let them. Those people want to see you fail. Those people want you to live a very hard life for no reason. Just use whatever advantage you can to get ahead in life. Because, you know, I not to like burst your little fantasy, but there are people who are literally born into like billionaires, like wealth, and they have all the control that they could possibly ever ask for in life and more, and they didn't work for it. So if I have the opportunity to get ahead in life, I'm going to take it. Yeah, well, thanks, Lazy. Yeah, I'm just doodling and chatting. Yeah, I just, I know I'm saying this and it sounds like I'm just like, oh, well, who's actually mad at you? I'm mad at me because it's deeply internalized. Because, you know, coming from like poverty, you're used to being around people who, struggle their entire lives trying to make ends meet. And when they see you, like, they see it as taking shortcuts. They see it as cheating. They see it as asking for handouts. And it's like those kind of people in my life, I feel like, even though they may not have always like directly said that, I feel like it internalized this belief that I need to struggle just to survive. And it's like, why struggle when you can have alternatives? And I have resources available to me that not a lot of people have. And so I'm going to utilize those, just like how some people are born into wealth. I still have to work for a living. There's alternative paths. But it doesn't like get rid of the path. I don't know why people are so glued to this like all or nothing thinking of like, oh, well, if you're never going to learn the real value of life if you don't work for a living. It's like, because their idea of working for a living is working for barely able to make ends meet, breaking your entire life just for making money for some, business owner who is going to replace you in 5 seconds as soon as you're a problem, and you have to bend over backwards for someone that you don't like, that is just making money off of you, making way more money than you are. And people think that that's normal. That's just like, oh, well, that's just how life is. Life isn't fair. You just have to accept it. Like, no, I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to get ahead in life no matter how much people think that I'm being, like, lazy, or they think that I'm being, like, whatever they might think. Because people are going to think that I'm just taking shortcuts, that I'm just, like, no, like, I'm utilizing resources that are available to me, which makes me smart, which makes me a good businesswoman. If somebody gives you a legit, like, and we're talking, like, if you verified that this was legit money, if someone gave you $1 million on the table, no questions asked, you'd be a fucking moron to not take that offer. They just leave $1 million on the table. That is legit money. You don't have to worry about this being like dirty money or anything. Like, you verify that it's legit money. You're getting paid $1 million on the table for nothing. They're literally giving it to you. You'd be a dumbass to say no to that. Oh, but I didn't work for it. No, you would take it. You would take it and get the hell out of there. There's no way. There's no way in hell that you wouldn't take it. So then why do people have such an issue when you start to get, like, some people take an issue when you get, like, disability resources. I have literal handicaps that other people might not have to deal with. And it's hard for them to get ahead in life. So what chance do I have without resources like this? People just want me to fail? People just want me to suffer? No, I'm going to take that cash. And I'm going to do better with it than a lot of people might. Because I'm not going to squander it. I'm going to invest in a better life and a better future. I'm not just going to sit around and suck off the government's teat, because the government can always take it away in a blink of an eye, right? Everybody's options are different. Yeah, you just got to work with the options you got. Some people had some really good mentorship early in life, and they were able to get ahead because they had the same opportunity. They had somebody mentoring them. They had somebody opening doors for them. They don't put two and two together that they also got handouts. They didn't make it on their own. Somebody opened doors for them. They had a boss that, like, mentored them and like helped them achieve. Like, they had, they built a resume through hard work. Some people can't do that because they can't last long enough at a job or even get hired because of certain disabilities. Some dude got assaulted for agreeing with ICE. That's terrible, but I don't want to bring those kind of discussions here. Well, there's also that lady who was literally just wearing braids and got denied access to a freaking event that her friends were in because a bunch of random white people called it cultural appropriation because apparently only black people can wear braids. Like, what? That's cultural appropriation? Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of people like that. I will never let people like that control my life. I will never let those people like that have power over me. First of all, I'm transgender, so if they're gonna cancel me, like, you're canceling somebody who is literally being oppressed, like, more than a lot of people on this planet. I wouldn't say most oppressed. I still am in California, and even then, I'm still in the United States. There's places that are being extremely oppressed, okay? So, first world problems, but at the same time, more than anybody else in this situation, like, maybe, like, there's only a few different demographics that are as oppressed as trans people, okay? So, I wouldn't expect people to, like, like, there's certain things like respect, like, like, I feel like blatantly, like, harassing people is a problem. But, like, if somebody was like, I don't understand this whole, like, cultural appropriation thing. Like, somebody wearing braids is not cultural appropriation. It's literally just a hairstyle. And also there's lots of different cultures that have that hairstyle. There's native cultures. There's like different like European cultures. Like braids are just a hairstyle. Like what the fuck? But they called it cultural appropriation? Like I don't get it. Those people, like, you know, hopefully it's a wake-up call that she should probably just stop trying to be a part of those weird groups. Like I saw this video, she was literally getting thrown out because she had braids and because she said like, you know, like the R word, you know, which for some people is like a cardinal sin. I don't generally use that word. I think it's like been used to bully people who are different. In fact, people like me for being like autistic and such, but some people don't care about that, and I'm not going to stop them. I'm not going to be mad at them. I personally don't use that kind of language. I think it's like there's really no reason for it. But some people don't have that kind of boundary, and whatever. It's not going to like destroy my life. It's not going to like ruin my day. I'm not going to call them like I'm not going to like cancel them for using like a word that I don't like using. He gay? What? I'm a trans woman. That's not a secret. If you don't know what that means, well then open up Google or ask ChatGPT or something. What does a trans woman mean? You're welcome to use all the millions of information that is available at your fingertips. If you have time to type out on my YouTube channel questions like that, you have time to do your own research. Like just ask Google. Like just ask ChatGPT. Like you can do it. Like I don't know why you're asking me basic questions like that. If you don't know what all this trans stuff means, go look it up. Okay, I'm a trans woman. That's not a secret. If you're gonna give me a lot of hard times about it, you're gonna get blocked. I don't talk about that kind of stuff, so just a warning, I'm going to ignore certain comments about heavy political news. Like, especially, like, geopolitical, like, warfare kind of stuff. Like, we're not going to go there. Trans woman robots in the sky. Fully transition? I'm post-op. As of 2 years ago. The best thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. It was the most meaningful, like waking up from that surgery was like the most profound, transformative experience in my entire life. And I will never forget it. Even though I was like drugged out of my goddamn mind, I'm still never going to forget it. It was a spiritual, like, event that most people probably would never understand. But I don't need them to, because it was meaningful to me. The most profound event in my entire life, and I will never forget it. It'll live with me forever. Are you going to play Crimson Desert? I don't know what that is. I mostly play World of Warcraft, but lately I've just been doing drawing streams, and I've been liking it. If you guys have questions, you guys can ask Google about it. You guys know what... Don't play dumb. Hey, Chira. If you guys have questions as basic as, what does the surgery even mean? Either you're playing dumb, or you're just, like, too lazy to even open up Google. I'm sorry, but I am not... it's not my responsibility to educate you about every single health-related history of me. Like, I am a post-op trans woman. If you don't know what that is, Google it. There's a lot of information available. If you really want to know, if you're very interested, I had what's called robotic-assisted peritoneal flap vaginoplasty. If you want to look up what that is, there's even video footage of the surgery being operated on people on YouTube. You can watch the surgery being done on people. If you are interested, there is information. If you're not interested, then don't ask. There's plenty of information on the internet. You guys literally have the entire history of human knowledge at your fingertips. You should not be asking questions that are already answered. Like, you come into a trans woman's channel and you're basically making me educate you on things that I've already lived through. And I've already gone through it, and I can talk about it sometimes, but I don't want every single moment of my live stream content or my YouTube shorts to be about transgender content. Like, shouldn't I be able to create alternative content rather than just doing transgender education? Like, I shouldn't have to be glued to that just because I happen to have a transgender medical history. Like, do you see where I'm getting at? Like, from my perspective? There's propaganda? Well, then try to find which sources aren't. You guys can be okay. You'll be okay. It's available. There are reputable medical sources of information. If you can't find out what those are, you have bigger problems than trying to figure out what transgender medicine is. I'm sorry, but if you can't discern misinformation and reputable sources, you have a different task ahead of you than learning about my surgeries. Like, I'm sorry to be rude, but I'm just telling it how it is. If you don't know how to differentiate information, you need to learn social media literacy. Like, you need to be able to distinguish what is reputable and what isn't. That is a task ahead of you, and I do not envy you. However, I have been on social media for 25 years, so I don't want to assume how hard it or how easy it is. You have a tough task ahead of you if you don't know media literacy. Okay, so good luck on that. But it's a problem that can be solved. You just take it one step at a time. There's probably information on how to learn critical thinking. I'm not talking about government would never lie. There's certain things that are just medical realities. And there are accepted medical, there's accepted medical knowledge. Like, do you doubt information about diabetes from official medical sources? If you don't doubt stuff about cancer, stuff about, unless it's like some rando on TikTok talking about how the styrofoam in the space launch, Elon Musk is giving you cancer. Like, someone with like, it's not far-fetched, obviously, but like, unless you have like a peer-reviewed, nothing is perfect and nothing is going to be 100%, but do you really need something to be 100% verifiable, which is impossible, for you to accept it? Because a lot of people out there, I know this might be hard to believe, but a lot of people don't even accept that vaccines can prevent illnesses. So if there's a different problem that you need to work on, which is learning how to trust verified medical sources, which good luck, because in today's age, we have so much misinformation, and it's really hard to tell who's telling the truth, especially with how corrupt the government is, and we know this. But at some point, if enough health organizations accept that transgender medicine is beneficial and very safe, in fact, it's safer than the vast majority of medical procedures you will get that are like serious, like going under anesthesia kind of surgeries. Like, transgender medicine, even the most extreme of them, like bottom surgery, like the surgery I got, are still safer than even some of the most like routine surgeries, like hip replacement or knee replacement. People can have lifelong injuries and problems, or even have their leg or something amputated because of an infection that can happen like months after surgery. If you don't take care of things and listen to what your doctor said during recovery, or just because you have genetic, predisposition to certain infections. There's so many things that can go wrong in a knee replacement surgery, right? There's no misinformation on the internet. You're lying. True. Everything that you read on the internet is true. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying my stream, Yeet. Low-key need a mod? I'm not going to mod anybody. I don't really trust anybody. What's up, guys? Hope you all having hey, what's up, Mr. Jester? You ate a pomegranate once? Does that make me transgender? Probably. 10 minutes ago, what she said, she didn't want to talk about transgenderism. Please don't use that word. That's the kind of word that people who are spreading that misinformation use. They're trying to pit you against other humans. Do you understand? Like, the political bullshit, the political machine is using transgender people and your fear and your lack of knowledge against you. See, I don't even like talking about these kind of political topics. I don't want to be like Asmongold or Hassan, okay? I don't want to be the person that educates you about these things. I just want to draw and hang out and talk about life, which unfortunately, because I'm transgender, a lot of those topics come up, and I don't know how to fix this problem. I honestly am terrified, but I'm going to keep showing up anyway, and maybe I'll figure out a way to get a better balance. Maybe I'll figure a way around it, or maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. I'm not going to give in to fear. Oh, because I'm transgender, I should just quit content creation because it's always going to be like this. I don't know that. What if this part of history about transgender people never happens again? And what if, like, transgender people just become normal, accepted part of society? Like, people start to learn that the medical procedures are, like, really helpful, and they're just like, oh yeah, that person is transgender, that person went through this procedure, good for them, and then they move on with their lives because it's just a normal part of medical reality. They're just like, oh yeah, I met somebody and they're transgender and I work with them, so let's focus on work, right? Like maybe that's going to be a thing, maybe even in my lifetime. I hope so. So, you know, I could just give up. But if I give up on one thing, why shouldn't I just give up on life itself, which I'm not going to do? So if you don't respect yourself enough to just keep going and keep waiting, you know, like keep fighting for a better future for yourself, like I don't want to give up, because there's got to be a path forward. Even though it's really hard, I have to deal with the fact that because I'm transgender, that's going to be a constant point of conversation in my channel and in my content, in my comments. It's going to be ever present. And I don't really know how to deal with it because ignoring it isn't really an option. It's just that prevalent. And not everybody is doing it maliciously. So, and also some people just don't understand that when you're talking about something constantly, they don't see it that way because they're new to the channel, and they think they're asking something reasonable. And I don't want to just, you know, get mad at them for doing something that they didn't even intend to do. Now, there are going to be people trying to get me worked up, but I think a lot of people, I mean, there has to be a certain amount of people that just literally don't see the snowball avalanche of, like, the reality that I have to deal with, of like, hey, like, I'm a transgender person, and then people think that means that I'm just like an infinite source of knowledge about that topic. Out at sea? Damn, Mr. Jester, that's crazy. How do you contribute to society aside from wasting internet streaming to strangers for self-validation? You have a lot of assumptions there, Antique Keeper. And I just want to ask you why you think that you alone have all the answers to knowing why I'm showing up to stream, why I'm you think you have all the answers and you literally don't. I'm just trying to do what I do best, which is I'm working long term on becoming I am a performance artist, and I am an artist in general. I may not be like the best, I may not even be mediocre, but that is who I am as a person. I am a performance artist. I am an artist. I am a content creator. I am a writer. These are skill sets that I have, and I'm just going to do the best I can to utilize those skills to get as far as I possibly can and learn. And, you know, it's like leveling up in a video game, right? I want to get as much XP in the things that come naturally to me and the things that keep continuing to surface in my life based on a skill set that I have. And I'm going to do the best I can because I think that's how you benefit society. I'm glad I make you happy, YNBF1. Need to be really comfortable in your new body when you get to a certain point. I mean, I am comfortable in my body. It's not about... This is the last bastion of gender dysphoria because I've already fixed the medical part of it. I got my surgeries. Okay, the only things I really have to deal with on a physical body level are the things that everybody deals with. How many guys out there, this is not even about trans people. I'm using this as an example because I think it illustrates the point. How many guys out there do you know have like, you know, they're balding, but they like use the last wisps of their hair to cover their bald spot with comb overs, or they get a toupee or get a transplant. Okay, like at a certain point, you know, you're just you do the procedures and then you just move on with your life and you're happy. You know, people struggle with self-image and, you know, anxiety about their appearance all the time. So that's all I have left is the stuff that everybody has. It is a little bit steeped in my medical history, but I'll get over it. It's already happening. It's been happening for the past 2 years, and it's getting better and better. The only problem that's left is the social dysphoria. And especially as a content creator, people are going to find whatever it is about you that makes you different, or that makes you like a marginalized person, and they're going to use that against you. And that's just the nature of content creation, especially in today's economy of like creator economy. And we're not talking necessarily about money specifically, just the reality of social media, and that if you're making content and that's where you distribute it. Just the reality of the market is that at this point in time, being a transgender person evokes a lot of negative emotions in a large amount of people. And it is extremely frustrating because I don't know if I'm going to make it. But there have been transgender people who have found success in life. There are transgender actors, there are transgender models, there are transgender people in every career, basically. And I'm pursuing a career as a model, as an actress, as a content creator. And I'm going to try to find whatever success I can. So like, I don't understand why people speak for me, as if they know what I'm going through, as if they think they know what I'm struggling with. I have talked about what I'm struggling with. I have talked about it at length. And so if you think you know, when you're saying things that don't even align with the reality of the struggle I am dealing with, they're not the things you think. You're basically just running off of a copy-paste script. Are you gay? I'm pansexual. And again, before the people come out like, oh, do you like pans? You know what pansexual is. And if you don't, Google it. It has a definition. Just because you're unaware of it doesn't make you correct. Doesn't make you doesn't make me wrong. Doesn't make me woke. Okay, just because I use a label that has a very real definition does not make me somehow woke, or doesn't make me delusional. Like, you're just unwilling to learn. Hey, Noodle Cheese, how you doing? Back in the 40s, 70s, it wasn't even a big deal. I think it's always been a big deal. It's just trans people were a lot more in the closet. And actually, transgender medicine was set back a lot because of World War II. And in the 70s, there was only a certain amount of people that were able to pursue these surgeries. And the surgeries themselves, like the surgery itself, like, and they didn't even have like real surgeries for trans mask people. They had surgeries. They had the bottom surgery since 1930s. It was very early, it was not as good as what they have now. Even the surgery I got is still like, there's newer surgeries. They're still being researched, but there are more advanced surgeries. I think there's a surgery that doesn't require dilation. Give me a courtesy reach around? Give life a reach around, because life only comes once. You read a thing where it said essentially, why be offended? Why be that? You must be secure and hold fast. Yeah, but I mean, it's like saying this to a, like, are you gonna go up to, and I know it's like kind of shitty that I have to compare this to like people with like physical disabilities. It just kind of sucks and make me feel a little gross comparing being trans to like being blind. Would you go up to a blind person and tell them that they should just learn how to like not be upset that they're blind? Or telling somebody who has to use a wheelchair that they're overreacting when a place they need to get to doesn't have a wheelchair ramp, or any kind of accessibility? Like, it's like you're like punching down on somebody that for a problem that you yourself don't have to deal with. You have no idea what trans people go through. So why are you deciding how we're supposed to live our lives? You don't even struggle. If you did struggle with these things, you'd be right here with us. So it's like you don't even understand what the issues are, and yet you seem to have all the answers. This is what I don't get about people who are constantly thinking they understand what reality is about being trans when they don't even live through it themselves. And now, do you see what's happening? Is now I've been talking for, I think, for the past 20 minutes about transgender related topics. Do you see how bad this is? Like, I don't want this to be the central content of my stream. I don't know how to solve this problem, but I'm going to keep trying. I have no choice. And things might just work out eventually. So if you give things enough time, something will click. You like my shirt? Yeah, I've had this shirt. My mom gave it to me. It's got like it's California. When a person is happy with who they are and what they are, they aren't usually offended by offensive jokes. I do kind of agree with you when it comes to people getting overly offended. I think like South Park creators, like kind of like also like shows like Family Guy and stuff, they get constant like Karens telling them that their show should be taken off the air because it's too offensive. There's a thing called freedom of speech, and if you don't like it, don't watch it. But there is a situation where it's like, well, if the entire society around us doesn't want to accept our existence, how are we supposed to ignore it? If every single moment of our lives are affected by it. Do you understand, like, what the issue is with trans people? We can't just let it go. We can't just stop living. Is that what you want? You want us to just not be alive? Because that's been the whole problem to begin with. That's why we have transgender surgeries. Because we want to live. And the only alternative is to completely give up. And we don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's why I got the surgeries. Because I didn't want to give up on my life. Yeah, I'm in California, and I don't want to go anywhere else. It's really scary what's happening right now, and I don't know how to convey how terrifying it is, and I hate that I have to talk about it on stream. I have to keep pushing, though, because a lot of people get bullied to just quit content creation as transgender people. The world needs people like me who show up anyway. The more people who show up, the more normalized our existence becomes, as it should. Because I firmly believe there's nothing inherently wrong with us. There might be things wrong with individuals, but that's a different issue. That's always been the case. I don't know why people seem to think that, like, transgender people are somehow above being, like, you know, exempt from the same things that affect everybody else. Like, everybody has some kind of trauma they're dealing with. Everybody has some toxic behavior issues or something that people don't like. Everybody has flaws. So why aren't trans people allowed to have flaws? You want us to be 100% perfect? Nobody's perfect. So why are you holding me and other people like me to such an impossible standard? Like, we have to just be perfect at all times, or we're not allowed to be accepted into society? That's ridiculous. There's going to be flawed people. I'm flawed. Oh, well, thanks for the sub, YNBF at 1. You're new from 15 minutes ago? Hell yeah. Don't listen to people who say they don't like people like you. Yeah, I mean, I just usually just block people. The art style looks awful. I love South Park. I love Family. I like those cartoons. I haven't really been up to date on like Family Guy for a while, but I grew up with Family Guy. I don't really easily get offended. See, here's the thing. People assume I get offended because they're used to trans people and other like left-leaning people and like LGBTQ people. They're used to people getting offended. I don't blame the people for getting offended either, because a lot of people don't have the kind of resources I had. I had insane like advocacy and resources here in California, and I fought for it. And I kept going, and I got all my surgeries. Some people have like literally states where they're literally like having to hand their driver's license back to their state government, like in Kansas. Okay, like I know a lot of people aren't fully aware of how terrifying that is, but their entire existence is trying to be erased. When your entire existence is trying to be erased by the government, you're going to get offended by things because it impacts you much more than it would anybody else. Like your existence in public life is being constantly undermined. Your ability to actually just exist and be legally accepted as who you are is being undermined because of a bunch of hateful people. You're serious? Okay. I don't know about that, PhysX Skater. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, there's certain people that are just gonna get a permaban. You're not gonna have a space here. Go talk somewhere else. If you're gonna be spreading the same hateful talking points, you're gonna get permabanned. Saying that it's just a phase? Are you serious? I don't know why people seem to think that they get the statistics wrong too. The vast majority of trans people are happy with getting gender affirming care. I don't know why people think that it's a phase. Like, being a goth is a phase, okay? Like, this is something inherently, like, deeply ingrained into your identity. Do you think that like, something that is that meaningful, like gender, is like an extremely important thing to everybody? Like, it's a fundamental part of who you are. Do you think that's just a phase? Like seriously, just think about it logically, bro. Like, yeah, well, you know, I don't know how to help you with, like, generally it's not really a good idea to have crushes on your friends, because you might ruin what you already have, especially if it's a very important person to you. But if it feels mutual, then maybe it's something more to begin with, and that is worth exploring. I don't know. I don't know what the call is. It's really only something you can decide. Like, if you're having like feelings for somebody that you really care about, you kind of have to use your own judgment. I wish I could help, but you know, I don't know your situation, and I don't know, like, you know, it's a really tough call. Because if it's somebody you're friends with, if you were to tell them about your feelings for them, like, you risk jeopardizing what you already have. Are you talking about, like, the Olympics? I guess there's a situation in Canada that, like, this guy who was doing curling was accused of, like, Canada was accused of cheating because the guy like touched the like puck or whatever it's called with his finger, and there was cameras, but it was viewed from the side, and so it was unofficial cameras, so they couldn't use it to judge whether or not he was cheating. What you drawing? I'm just doodling. I just kind of start with a bunch of scribbles, and then I try to like find the logic and like fill in the blanks and then add some value. It's pretty abstract, but I think it's a good practice of just showing up and creating like the flow state of just drawing. And I am learning like motor skills, but it's not like deliberate practice. It's more like just like a passive practice. Just being able to find the logic in scribbles, you know. Transgender, like Armin van Buren. Transgender. The RAM shortages? Well, you can just download more RAM, bro. Didn't you know that? Yeah, I mean, I generally listen to my chat, even people I probably shouldn't listen to, because, you know, you kind of foster an environment where if you respond, I know people say don't feed the trolls. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. I don't think anything is that cut and dry. But honestly, you know, in general, if you respond to certain things, then more people are going to ask about it. So that's kind of the issue. When it comes to something fundamental to my existence, like, nothing is going to change that I'm transgender. Like, I know that. I have a medical history. But the more I talk about it, the more people show up to ask about it, which is kind of a conundrum. And like I said, I don't know how to solve that problem. I don't think avoiding it is an answer, because it is literally a fundamental part of who I am. I shouldn't have to hide. But at the same time, like, it is kind of just annoying, and I want to make better content. I don't think transgender related content is very good content for me. Like, I don't really think it's not popular. It's definitely not going to drive the algorithm very well. It's not pleasant to talk about because it involves politics, and I already live it. So why would I want to bring it to my content creation? Other people might feel differently about it, but I personally, I want to pursue a pretty regular life. I don't want to be political. And I wish people would respect that, but because I'm transgender and because the topic of transgender is heavily politicized, people seem to think that I'm just a talking point, and that they can come into my chat and just make this into their personal platform to talk about transgender stuff because they are very emotionally invested in the topic. I'm sorry, but there's plenty of other places you can talk about that. This is just a place for me to build my long-term life trajectory. My live stream, this is like kind of like a space I created to kind of like put everything together in my life as a content creator, because I'm a performer. I'm pursuing a career outside of live streaming and content creation on YouTube. I want to be an actress. I technically am already a professional model. I want to pursue that. I want to see where that goes. I know that I have potential. I already have success, and I want to see more. I have good analytics. I'm getting a lot of views on YouTube too. I got more subscribers these past 60 days than I have in an entire 6 years of creating on YouTube. Do you understand? Oh, I don't know about... See, I started... Before I started live streaming on vertical format, I had 800 subscribers. Now we're approaching, like, I think, like, 1,300 subscribers. And it's only been, like, I think, like, 60 days? Maybe less? So I'm doing something right, and I'm releasing YouTube Shorts. I started using Streamladder to kind of, you know, facilitate and make it simpler to collect clips and upload YouTube Shorts. And those are getting me views. I'm getting more views than I've ever had before. And it might have like a long way to go, but I'm doing something right. And it's not about the specific, it's about the patterns. It's about the long-term trajectory. And so I see a lot of potential for me. And also, I don't want to let like arbitrary things hold me back. A lot of people say, oh, well, you're 38, you may as well give up. I think that's bullshit, because there's people twice my age who are succeeding. Even in some of the fields that are usually considered to be only viable for younger people. In fact, I'm at an age where, you know, the MILF category is pretty good. And then when it's no longer MILF, I get the GILF category. So I could literally live the rest of my life without retiring. I could just keep moving up in life with its ups and downs, but I think generally my trajectory is upward. Even when things seem like they quiet down a little bit, I'm looking at my life from a long-term, 30-year lens. Like, for the next 20 years of my life, I'm going to be 58 in 20 years. And when I'm 58, I'll probably have another 20 years. And then by then, who knows how much modern medicine will have advanced. I might have another 40 years left after that. And I'll probably never have to retire. I'm not going to retire. I'm just going to eventually die because I'm mortal. I'm not immortal. I'm never going to retire. I'm just going to keep improving my craft. And so I'm 38 right now and I'm just getting started. So why would I give up just because it looks impossible? It's not. When did you start YouTube? 2016? It's complicated. I started this YouTube channel in 2019 when I started transitioning because I changed my name. I do have an old YouTube channel that I started in 2011, but I don't even have access to that channel anymore. I don't even have that email anymore. I deleted that email. That channel that I originally had, I literally cannot even access. So it's just there. And it wasn't doing too well. But honestly, I still have a long way to go, but I'm looking like long term. Like over the next 30 years of my life. 30 years is a long fucking time to develop a career. Like even like 5 years can make a big difference. I'm going to be fundamentally changed over the next 5 years. I know because these past 6 years, I fundamentally changed my entire existence. Okay? If I keep that up, think about where my career is going to be in 30 years. Like, I'm going to be like something. Something is going to work out. Like, I'm dynamic. I'm flexible. I work well with people if they're willing to work with me, but finding those opportunities is the real challenge. But once you start, like, there will be momentum. Like, if I find the right path, then people are going to start opening doors for me because the more resume building I do, the easier it will be to procure those opportunities. Gaylords? Your point? I'm just trying to say that a lot of people give up on things when they don't really think about the long-term picture. About how much time they truly have. Like, we have so much time on this earth, and are you just going to spend it second-guessing yourself and doubting yourself and refusing to take action? Or are you going to spend it taking some kind of action to move you towards what you want? You have to know what you want, and then you just take actions that align with that. It doesn't matter if you're successful right away. You're not going to be successful right away, most likely. The vast majority of people are not successful from day one. Okay, some people might get lucky, but even then they have other problems to solve because they got success too quickly, right? You get success too quickly, now you have other problems. You're not prepared. You're thrust into success. That's a problem. Because you might screw it up somehow. You might really put yourself in a world of trouble. But most people slow build their success in any field, in any pursuit. But I try to look at the big picture. I've always known from early childhood that I am an artist. I'm a performance artist. I may not be the best in any of those kind of performance arts, but I have room to grow, and I'm going to keep growing. You have two choices, really. Give up or keep going. And I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to let doubt or fear or any of that kind of stuff stop me. Armpit fetish? No, you're not weird. In fact, I have some people who have given me some good money for some armpit content. And you think I'm joking. I'm not. It's a serious business. It's a legitimate, lucrative fetish. What's wrong with that? Why armpits? Why tits? Why ass? Why pussy? Why dick? Who cares? It's not your business. Somebody likes armpits, it's not your business. Just because you might not be into it, somebody else is. What's wrong with that? Why not just let people be happy? Let people goon in peace. Now it's kind of funny to mention it as I think a first message in my stream. I don't think this user has been here before, and the first thing that they said was that they have an armpit fetish. So that's a little awkward, but I mean, I'm not going to judge. You're welcome here. I'm not going to judge people for having things that some people are going to find extremely odd. As long as they're not hurting anybody, they're not harassing me, they have a sexuality that may not be what people accept all the time, but you're welcome here. You're not going to be judged by me, at least. Well, you're going to sleep, and everybody wants me to go to sleep too. It's 59%. It is 11:21 p.m. I've been live for 2 hours. I probably don't need to finish up. I mean, there is no finishing up in this drawing. It is literally just random doodles, but I do feel like there's some things I can just kind of set this to a place. I think it's okay. I think we got enough for one stream. Let's take a screenshot of the drawing. Yeah, I mean, I did something. I created an artifact. This is a real evidence of my drawing progress. I created it. It's real. As our friend Avery Brooks famously said, you are the dream, and you are the dreamer. Yes, Captain Sisko. Commander Sisko, sorry. Spoilers. I thought you were drawing an armpit? How does this look like an armpit at all? What the hell, bro? Hello, Brazil. I'm Rebecca. No, somebody was talking about armpits. I wasn't drawing an armpit. What the hell is even that, Sinister? Sure it's too big for you? Return to the store? This was a gift. My mom gave it to me. Gee. Just a t-shirt. Not too big. I wear it as pajamas. I'm in my pajamas. I'm wearing sweatpants. The real armpit is in the heart. True. That's really deep. That's really emotionally resonant. With enough imagination, anything can look like an armpit. I mean, yeah, true. Let's just change up the lighting a little bit. It's so beautiful, yes. Yeah, I mean, it's abstract. It's just doodling. I mean, I was just doodling, bro. Anyway, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I am gonna go to bed soon. Basically just, thanks for being here and thanks for hanging out. Really enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a good night. Drawing looks like people tormenting in flames. Yeah, I mean, I've had like kind of like some ideas going on. I'm just trying to express the emotions that are inside of me in ways that are different than how I usually do. Usually I do this by writing or talking about it. And I think like trying to use my right brain instead of my left brain to kind of like express what my emotions and thoughts are in a more visceral format. Like the subconscious and the things that I can't put words to. Trying to see like what emerges. That's why I started drawing. Like I want to try something different because I write a lot and I've journaled a lot and I've talked a lot. Like looking at all my live streams, just go to my YouTube channel, go to the live and go from oldest to newest and you will see, and that's not even when I didn't start streaming on YouTube until like Twitch allowed like multi-streaming and all that. I've been streaming since 2019. Okay, and a lot of those VODs are permanently gone. So I've talked a lot during that time. And I've talked about these problems over and over and over. I've gone in circles and I've journaled about it. I've even, I worked in therapy for the past 6 years, working on these problems. I've talked about it in so many different ways. I've written so many journals. I've even consulted ChatGPT about stuff. Not everything, but about most stuff. And there comes a point where your left brain simply cannot process everything. So that's why I started drawing. Trying to express things in a way that's not the way I normally do. Most people only have one brain. Everybody has two sides of the brain. You just might not always think it works in ways that you believe it does. The logic side of your brain it's not as cut and dry or black and white as people say, oh, the right side of the brain is for art and the left side of the brain is for math. It's like, it's much more complicated than that. There's things that you do every single day that use your right brain that is absolutely nothing to, like, you're not even aware of it. Like being able to look across the street and know if a car is coming, that's your right brain. It's like geometrical space. It's like you're seeing what is rather than using logic. You're not using language to describe things. You're using like the raw visual data to make snap judgments. Your brain does this like much faster with that part of your brain. In order to, if we only had left brain, we wouldn't survive. Because some things need to happen quicker. than how we can, talk it out, right? Being able to calculate things using like a more like kind of linguistic side of your brain works really well with certain problems that are long-term kind of logical discussion kind of things. But your right side of the brain can do things like immediately that have very real consequences in your life. That's why we have it. We evolved it for a reason, so that we can adapt to our environment in multiple angles. We can long-term develop like multiple logic. We can invent things. We can talk to each other and all that kind of stuff. But we also need to be able to exist in the moment with raw data as it is. Because if we only had the logic side, we would be clueless when it comes to like things that could literally destroy us in milliseconds. Like you need to make a decision immediately, without words, with just like the visual, like spatial, geometrical kind of data. Intuitiveness, right? Want to watch Heroes? I have not seen that show, Q Cucks. But yeah, anyway, I am go to bed. Bye-bye. Just goon at this point, no need to overthink. Yeah, I mean, I make a lot of money gooning, but my living situation, there's more to it than just making money. I have to be able to sustain it. And this situation, it got to a point where I can't really goon on camera anymore. I have to wait until I get a better situation, because I'll be able to be much more free in my heart. It's not about overthinking. It's about literally like, this situation is destroying me and I need to do something that will get me through this dark part of my life. I think that drawing and just maintaining like a simple, like, YouTube live stream and Twitch and stuff like that, I think that this is how I'm going to get through this. And then when I have my new situation, I'm going to have a lot better lighting setups. I'm going to have a lot better camera angle setups. I'm going to have a lot better options. I'm going to feel better. And so I'm going to goon better. Okay, so trust me, I know what I'm doing. Even though, yeah, I could technically in the short term be making more money, but making more money would actually hurt me. Do you understand? Like, I'm on SSI and I'm on these programs that I qualify for. If I made more money, it better be sustaining. And if I can't sustain it because of emotional issues by this living situation, it's like the money is not going to help me, because it would be too short term. I'm not making enough money to justify ruining my mental health at this moment. Especially since I just can't even get myself to show up. So it's like, plus I need to renew my driver's license, so I literally can't even broadcast right now. So, they don't let you broadcast on, certain platforms, unless you have a valid driver's license, and I need to renew it. So I literally cannot goon on camera right now. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's complicated. People say don't overthink it. It's much more than, like, I know what I'm doing. Trust me. I am not giving up. I am not stopping. I am not quitting. And I know people think that I'm wasting time, or I'm lazy, or, or that I could be doing more. I have priorities, and they're very real, and there's a reason why. And I'm saving that experience to associate with a better living situation, because I'm autistic, and maybe people don't understand how my long-term brain works. But if I associate certain things with this living environment, I'm going to bring it with me. And I don't want to bring negativity with me. I want to leave all this behind. I want to start fresh, and I want to start right. Okay, so like, I want to do this right. It's very important. Some people might think I'm overthinking, but no, you need sleep. I know you're being funny. No need sleep. Sleeping only wasting your time. No, sleeping and resting and taking breaks from things is at least as important as being productive, because you're resting. You're like getting your body to like freshen up itself, reset process with your brain. Like sleeping is really important. You gotta sleep. If you're not getting good sleep, the rest of your life suffers. So you're really wasting time by not sleeping, by getting shitty sleep schedules, by not sleeping enough. You're actually jeopardizing the rest of your work, because you're not like because everything else suffers. So in the long term, you're actually doing worse. You want to look at it that way. I know sometimes it's really hard because productivity bros are like, you gotta have like 200 things every hour. You gotta be doing this. You gotta be using Pomodoro. You gotta be. It's like, dude, calm down. Just do what works. It's all that matters. Anyway, thanks for everybody for joining. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks.